All right, what is up, everybody? Divine Hood here, coming at you with another daily update on Bitcoin and the crypto markets. So, in yesterday's video, let's jump right into this here on Bitcoin. In yesterday's video, I mapped out key levels of support and key levels of resistance above us, and that Bitcoin was probably most likely going to continue bullishly based off of the momentum we were seeing in Bitcoin and what levels to look for support. Now, in yesterday's video, I talked about this box here being a really juicy box of support because we had so much confluence here. Remember, in trading, especially with technical analysis, the more confluence you have at certain levels, the stronger that level of support or resistance is going to be. It's probability. So the more levels that come together there, the more probable the bounce will be from that level. All right, so let's go into this here. Yesterday, after I went to bed, we kind of were just chopping around in this slow grind down, this corrective price action. After this big impulse down, we had this corrective price action that was happening overnight. Kind of, it was like a descending channel on a lower time frame that we were chopping through. And then early this morning, we saw a bit of a crash down, and we dropped perfectly into our box of support. We saw a really aggressive buy from the box of our support, and we made a really quick pump, which told me that Bitcoin is still in bullish price action here, and that any pullback we saw was a corrective pullback for the bullish continuation to happen. And during this pullback, we did get that one quick aggressive flush into the support. Let me zoom in here real quick because while this was happening, I was in the Discord, and let's go to the 1 minute time frame because I was updating as this was happening. We dipped into our box at the very on the 1 minute candle at the very beginning of the box here, and we were starting to get a pump up out of this. And I told everyone in the Discord, I said, actually, I would like to see one more low being made into the middle of the box where the golden pocket is, and just where more of that confluence was. And so we got that second dip into the box. We actually hit the levels that I was looking for. And from this area, we saw some explosive price action to the upside. We were able to reclaim some important things. So let's go into this real quick. Anytime Bitcoin is in an impulse like we have been in for the last 4 days, and then we start to form sort of a sideways range here, we can evaluate this range to see what levels are important in this range to see whether Bitcoin's going to continue in the bullish direction or if we're going to see a much larger like impulse crash to the downside. And so what we were looking at is we were looking at this range here. Now remember, this part wasn't formed yet. And this, you can see the second we actually lost our value area low of this range, that's when we saw that big impulse down into our box of support. But we were able to not only reclaim this level, and I did talk about this in the Discord. I said, okay, guys, once we come up to VWAP, the VWAP could act as resistance, like you can see all through here. This blue line is the volume weighted average price. And it oftentimes in trends, it'll act as either support or resistance. You can see all through here was pretty much support. And all last night, resistance here, resistance all through here, resistance right before the big drop here, got the big drop. And so I said our first take profit level, if you longed this box of support with me, it would be about the VWAP here. Well, we came up to the VWAP, and I did have a limit take profit set there, so I did it. But what happened that was really important is we were able to break through that level. We came up to our value area high here, and I posted about this too. Careful for rejection at the value area high because we could just continue this range. And actually, it's kind of what's happening right now. We're just continuing to build this range, which is absolutely normal after such an aggressive impulse to the upside. We saw a little bit of a correction, and now we're just continuing to get into this range. We are starting to break this range a little bit. I'm going to go into some low time frame price action in just a second here. But we came up to the value area high, which was, if I pull this back real quick, not that. Actually, let's just do that. And let's go to right here. You can see that the value area high, now the value area has changed a little bit, but that's exactly where, if you look at these wicks right here, we wicked into our value area high. We tried a few times to break it, and then we started dumping, but we dumped to our VWAP, and we held, now we flipped our VWAP into support, which is, that means Bitcoin's showing strength, and we came up higher. Now we came up, we're still like kind of forming this littler range within the bigger range right now. And we do have a possibility that this part here is a kind of sort of topping reversal pattern. We know that head and shoulder patterns are topping reversal patterns. So we could be seeing a sort of head and shoulder here on this move before a bigger correction to the downside. That is still possible. And a bigger correction to the downside is still very possible before, and we can still remain bullish. So this is what could be happening right now. We could be forming a topping pattern around the highs of this value area high. So now we can pull this range all the way to our present day price action. We keep trying to break this value area high. We do have our box of resistance that I talked about yesterday, the 886 and the macro golden pocket, and then we also have our naked daily point of control up here. So this is going to be important resistance above us, and we're going to really want to see how Bitcoin reacts once it gets to that price action there, or up to this level here, this confluence of resistance. But right now, Bitcoin was able to, after bouncing directly from our box of support, we are holding a strength, and you can see this point of control here, this red line here. This is where the most volume of the asset is traded within the relevant price action that we're measuring. So with this fixed range volume profile, we're measuring the relevant price action that's happening right now of the range that is forming. And the point of control is the strongest level, and it's like the fair value of the asset within this range. It's also where the most volume of trading is. And so you can see point of control, we bounced up from here, bounced the second time. When we lost it, it turned to resistance, resistance, dropped. We were able to reclaim it. Now it's acting as support, support again. And when we, earlier, just a few hours ago, I talked about we might see another drop to the VWAP and the point of control. If we do bounce there, we need to watch for this head and shoulders. I talked about this in the Discord here. Let's see if I can find that. Okay, let's see. All right, yeah. So I talked about this here. We're flirting with this value area high. We might drop to the POC and VWAP. If we do bounce, we need to watch for the right shoulder type of structure of a head and shoulders. And that was before we dropped to this structure. We dropped to it. We're seeing the bounce, and we could be seeing a head and shoulders right now. So what we can be doing here, let's analyze this structure here. We can look at the volume. And oftentimes in a head and shoulder pattern, you do want to see volume decrease continuously as the pattern forms. That is volume confirmation. Now, it looks like right now we are kind of seeing that. So this could be a valid head and shoulders. And it looks like if we lose, right now we're flirting with this value area high again. So if we drop below this value area high again, and we might be forming a topping pattern. The key is, obviously, when you see a head and shoulders, you see a neckline. And right now the POC is acting as our neckline. So we could, if we lose this value area high that we're at right now, and we drop to this POC, if we start to see a bounce from this POC, that could invalidate this low time frame head and shoulders topping pattern that we're seeing. If we break the POC, then we might be coming down and even taking these lows here and making new lows. But for now, we just got to monitor this price action here, monitor to see if this value area high holds. If it does, we have a high likelihood of coming up to this area here. And if it does confirm, we can look at our supports below us. Now, you see down here in this box, I would say this box is still valid support, because what we could do now is we could swing failure pattern these lows and stop out all the traders like me that longed it earlier today into our two anchored VWAPs. Now you can see we have an anchored VWAP from the 89K lows. That's this anchored VWAP here. And then we have an anchored VWAP from the all-time high that's here as well. So two anchored VWAPs. There's a lot of support here, volume support that's there. But we also have our golden pocket there. We have a 786 of a smaller Fibonacci retracement. And then we have our prior highs there. And we have the value area high of our range from December 19th to present day. So let's zoom out here on that. This range here, you can see our value area high is in this range as well. So oftentimes when you are ranging like this and you break a range to the upside, you'll come down to test it in a healthy market. You'll come down to test it as support, to flip it to support to continue higher. Now, we did do that earlier today, but it's possible that we could come down to this level again, take the liquidity from the intraday trades, and then make another move up. If we lose that, I would really be looking at for this area here around 95K. 95K, which is our bigger 0.5 retrace. We would have the swing failure patterns of these intraday lows here. And then we also have our daily that's closed down there. All right, so let's zoom back in on the price action here, and let's look at what's happening here. Yeah, we're just going to monitor this to see how this reacts here. If it does, we're going to continue higher. Now, overall, you guys, Bitcoin, this impulse that we've seen up the last few days has been a pretty aggressive impulse to the upside. Like, look at this. Look at this impulse here. That's a really aggressive move to the upside, which is what you want to see after a correction ends. We saw our correction end. We're starting to see an impulse to the upside. Now, if this is a much bigger impulse to the upside that's going to create new all-time highs and maybe go to 120K. Let's just speculate on this here. So then what we would be expecting, if that is the case, we would look for our 5-wave impulse pattern in the Elliott wave theory, and we would see this as maybe a wave 1 here. We could be in the process of our wave 2, which you can see wave 1 took about 3 days to complete. So our wave 2 could take a little while to complete. And then our wave 3 would be our most explosive and impulsive price action. The only thing I don't like about this is major resistance here, this 104 level. And that means our 1 wave would be longer than our 3 wave. And that would invalidate an impulse in Elliott wave theory. You want to see the 3rd wave be the most explosive, volume filled, and longest wave to the upside. I'm going to show you guys an example of that with XRP in just a second here. So, I don't like that. I mean, we could see this. If this is going to be really, really bullish and we're going to go up to like 120K, we could actually see like a double 1-2, and then our 3rd wave, like it's a 1-2, 1-2, and then our 3rd wave, and then we'll see a 4-5, 4-5. Now that means our second 2 wave could end at this 104 level. We would correct from there, and then our 3rd wave would be exploding up above 104 up to new all-time highs, maybe 108, 110. So that is definitely something to watch for, but it's too early to tell for me right now on the higher time frame Elliott analysis here. I'm sure there are guys in Elliott wave theory that are far more experienced than me that understand far more about this structure here than I do. I only like to use Elliott wave theory for more macro price action, for more macro impulsive moves and corrective moves, not so much for the internal moves here. When you start trying to count really small internal moves like this, it gets really noisy and you can fake yourself out a lot. It's almost like these guys that have 1,000 levels on their chart, and there's a level literally every tick on the chart, and it's really paralysis from over analysis. So the simpler you can keep your trading and the more clean and just bare with the important things on your chart, the better you'll be able, decision-making process you'll be able to have. So, all right. So Bitcoin still looking bullish here. We did get our retracement down to our key box of support, our support held, and we're starting to move up. I would say Bitcoin right now, we could just continue to monitor the bigger range as well. So if we actually go to our range from November 11th to present day, let's turn that on here, this entire range here. And let's look at, so our value area high has shifted up a bit higher. So this is going to be really important, you guys. Because of this impulsive price action that we saw over the past 3 days, it's pushed our value area high to a new higher level. And that higher level you can see is right at the top of our box where our naked daily point of control is and our macro golden pocket. And remember that macro golden pocket is from the all-time high at 108.4 down to the 89K lows we made. Golden pockets, they're the most powerful level in Fibonacci trading is the golden pocket. So this resistance right above us is going to be a really key resistance. So we can pull this box up just a itty bit higher here. And then we're going to add in this resistance here, we're going to add our value area high to this. All right. And we could, so what could happen, guys, is we can slowly grind up here over the next few hours, maybe the next half a day here. We can continue to kind of grind up into this area, hit into this, and then we would see a much bigger and longer correction before a big impulse to the upside. So now the only problem with that impulse to the upside is this resistance right here is a very key resistance at 104. I really think that level is at least going to give us a reaction for a scalp trade. And what I mean by a scalp trade, for some of you guys that don't understand this, like this long that I took down here earlier today, this would be considered a scalp trade. You're longing your support, and then as soon as you hit your first level of take profit level, your first resistance and take profit level, it's an automatic win of the trade, because you should, at that point, you should take profit, whether that's 50% of your trade, 30%, whatever you feel fits your plan, fits your risk reward plan. And then you would move your stop up to break even. So even if it comes back down and you get stopped out, guess what? You still won the trade. And that's what a scalp is within a bigger range here. Now, obviously, the best time to get in would be down at these areas here, and then you could ride, it would be more of a day trade or swing trade where you're riding it up much higher. But if you miss this, you wait for the pullback, you play the pullback as a scalp at first, you take partial profits, and you let it turn into a day trade if it wants to, or turn into a swing trade if it wants to. And you also protect your position by moving your stop loss up to break even. Or you can leave your stop loss, if you think it's going to have a swing failure pattern, you could leave your stop loss a little bit below, like this low here, and just risk getting stopped out. And maybe even then you would probably break even because you took 50% profits at your take profit one. So to the upside, the two most important resistances above us right now, this area here, which is our 886. If we do come hit the 886, guys, and we see a correction to the downside, anytime you hit an 886, you're more probable to come take the highs that the 886 was created from. So even if we see a corrective move to the downside, even to 95K, eventually we would be expecting to come up to take these highs. So in some ways it's bullish. And if we hit the 886, you want to look for the retracement to get in on a long position. So say we do hit the 886, and then we're going to come down. Say we, no, not that. Here we go. Say we do something like this, come up into this box of resistance, we reject from this box of resistance, and we see a longer correction happen over the next few days down to 95K, and we hit that box of support here. You would want to be looking at this as a possible day trade to a swing trade, because then eventually we're going to come take these highs here. It's more probable. It's not guaranteed. It's more probable to come take those highs here. So you would do something like, you would set your trade like this. You would obviously have your invalidation here, and then you would take them up to these highs, and that would be a 15 risk reward ratio depending on how you put your stop loss here. So that's something we could be watching for as well if we do reject from this box here. Now, if we do bust, there is one concern that I have here. Anytime you front run a macro golden pocket, like look at, we're so close to the golden pocket. Let me turn on that bigger golden pocket. Not that one. Let's see. This golden pocket right here. So you can see those levels that I just turned on. Anytime we come really close to touching a golden pocket, you can see it's from the 618, this dark green line here, to this orange gold line here, yellow gold, sorry. And that is our macro golden pocket from the 108.4 highs down to the 89K lows. Look how close we came, you guys, to touching it right here, but we front ran it. So what that tells me is that the next time we come up to this 618 level anyways, we might just bust through it. Now, that doesn't mean the second part of our box of resistance. Actually, I think the second part is more important. We have a daily naked point of control and our major range value area high up here, as well as our 0.65 of the golden pocket. So that would really, the only reason I'm leaving this box as wide as it is because the 886 is there. But what I would really think would really be nice is this box here. If we came up to that resistance there and hit into there, that's what would be really nice to see. So, and then if we do hit there and we start to see a retracement, we could look eventually for whatever support is going to hold. We could long that support to bring it up to at least these 102.7K highs that we have here. All right, so that's kind of it on Bitcoin. Let's look real quick here if we see any new naked daily points of control. All right, so we do have a new naked daily point of control from the candle that just closed 37 minutes ago from, so it is a valid naked daily point of control down here. Let's mark it out, and then let's zoom in on lower time frames and see if we can find any confluence with it on lower time frames. So we'll do the naked daily point of control. Now, this one here is from today's price action, which is only 37 minutes old, so we're not paying attention to that. All right, and let's zoom in onto the 12-minute chart, and let's see here. So that naked daily point of control, let's do the fixed range volume profile of our smaller range that we've been trading in all day. No confluence there, really. All right, what we could look for, and actually, has that been hit in the last 30 minutes or so? It has. It hasn't been hit since the daily closed. The daily closed right here, you can see the VWAP snap. This volume weighted average price resets every day if you have it on the daily VWAP, and it snapped to price right here. So since the daily close, we haven't come down to hit this yet. So it's still naked. It's at 99,755. If we do a golden pocket pull of just our very local price action here, what could be a right shoulder, we would do this here. And yeah, look at our golden pocket is there as well. So you guys, this bounce right here, if we do kind of grind down here over the next couple hours and we bounce here, not only would that invalidate the head and shoulders pattern that we have here, but it would also tell us that we're looking bullish here, because we would be bouncing from our very local golden pocket, as well as our naked daily point of control. So let's watch for that. I'm not going to mark that out. It's just too low. I'm not going to mark it out for you guys, because you can see it here. It's at 99,750, and it's not a major support level. It's more of a micro trend support if we're going to continue up to this box here. I'm going to stop marking smaller time frame and micro trend stuff, because if we do see impulsive moves that bust through it and people say, hey, you had a box here and it didn't bounce and you were wrong, and or whatever, you did this. So I'm only going to be marking out more major support levels from now on, more major confluences that we have in bigger moves. But just to let you know, for you more advanced traders that follow me and that scalp, this could be a good scalp. If we think the trend is going to continue up to this box here, you can scalp this very easy. And if you are going to scalp that, let's say you're going to put your long there and you're going to long it up to the 0.65 or that naked daily, you'd want to put your stop below this low that we just made here, or maybe even an itty bit below the point of control, which has been acting as support. That's still almost a 4-to-1 risk reward ratio there. So that's a valid scalp trade there. You could take that easily, and that would be an easy win in my opinion too. So, all right, so that's that low time frame. Now I'm going to go into XRP here, because XRP's been really exciting lately, guys. And I posted about this yesterday in the second video I made. I posted about this pitchfork, and I really was talking about us coming up to the top of the pitchfork to finish the third wave of a 5-wave impulse on Elliott wave theory. So, and you can see early this morning, well, first of all, we bounced. This was during yesterday's video. We bounced from the midline, which told me we were still showing strength. We were coming up here, and we were kind of finding some resistance within this upper band area. You can see the upper band is respecting, but then we came up and like to the penny touched this. Now I had longed this breakout here and I took a profit up here, and then we dropped and we held the bottom of the upper band as support. And then earlier today, even, we've been holding the band as support really all day. Just about an hour before I made this video, we did do a little, this dump here was when Bitcoin had the aggressive dump that I was just showing you guys into our box of support. So let me go back to Bitcoin. And on this dump right here, where we dumped into our long level for Bitcoin, that's when XRP did this. At that same exact time, XRP dumped all the way to the bottom of our pitchfork band, and we made a lot of liquidity here, because right away we got a really impulsive buy to the upside. So we had a lot of people long the bottom of this support band here and push it up to the top of the pitchfork again. You can see the top of the pitchfork did reject us to the dollar. So I'm going to go in on this lower time frame stuff, because this is actually really important. And in my channel, I harp all the time about how liquidity runs these markets. And that's why swing failure pattern trades are so good to take. So we had the flash crash down, we held the band, and we pumped all the way up. Well, you can see what happened, you guys. We came up to our prior intraday highs that we made earlier today, and we got the swing failure pattern of those highs right into the top of our pitchfork band. And we've been correcting kind of falling down ever since. Now, so, and then of course, we just an hour ago took the liquidity of those flash crashes, and now we're making a move up. All right. So SFP right there, very important liquidity grab on lower time frames. If I zoom in even more onto these low time frames, I was looking at this 3-minute chart all day long, because this has been exciting to trade for me. Anytime we came down to this support, like when we came down to this level, I think I took a long from here, and then we came up to our point of control of this range. We'd been forming, kind of like Bitcoin's been forming an intraday range. Same with here, and you can see all day long, since we reclaimed this, since we bounced from the bottom of the band, We were able to come up back into the value area, hold the value area low, break it all the way to the pitchfork top, and then we've been kind of just, we were bouncing between the point of control for hours today. The point of control was acting as a really, really strong support for us. We would bounce up to the value, the point of control, get rejected at the value area high. Point of control, value area high. Point of control, value area high. Point of control, value area high. Point of control. Then we finally lost it and we came down to this level here. Now, this level was our local golden pocket pull. So I did a golden pocket pull from the last big impulsive move right here on very low time frames. And you could see, and I was talking with one of our Discord members, Melissa, you know who you are, about this area here, because we came into our value area low, our golden pocket, and our pitchfork band of support here. And we did see 1 minute bull divs, which, gosh, on XRP today, any sort of bull divs is giving us pushes up because it's so bullish right now. So I did long this, and I also took profit the second I saw starting to reject from this point of control. And I warned about this in the Discord too. I said, guys, we need to watch for a rejection here, because if we do, we are probably going to go lower. And what used to be important support now flipped into resistance, and we did reject from there. So I closed, I just market close. I made a little bit of profit, and then we dumped down. Now we did dump down to take the liquidity of those flash crash lows, and now we're seeing a move up, and actually we're reclaiming our band. You can see here we pumped above the lower part of the band, kind of back tested it, established price action within it, chopped around here for a little bit, but we're reclaiming the band. So if we do reclaim the band, we can look up to that point of control again as a resistance. So let's go here real quick on XRP. Let's pull this ranged all the way. So we're at the point of control now. Now we could also do a Fibonacci pull from high to low. And I do think this golden pocket is still important, even if we break the POC, because our prior highs of this kind of descending channel, we were forming this kind of descending channel here. So this channel here, we were in this descending channel. And so if we do come up to this here, this golden pocket, or this high, these highs here at the top of the channel, or we could even take the second pivot highs. Actually, that's kind of nice here. The second pivot highs of the channel into the golden pocket might be a nice little intraday liquidity grab, and then we might see another move back down to flip the POC into support. So if we do something like this, come down, flip this into support now, and then continue higher. But I'm going to zoom out on XRP, because I'm talking about scalping time frame stuff, when really you really have to be an expert and understand proper risk management to scalp altcoins, especially volatile altcoins like this right now. They're making very aggressive moves. So let's zoom out on this, and I want to show you why XRP right now is, I do think a bigger pullback is coming. So I actually think that we might make a lower high here and then dump much farther, because I want to zoom out. Let's zoom out onto the 4-hour chart here. And I showed this in yesterday's video, but you can see we had this corrective price action to the downside that took really weeks, and it was a descending channel. And I showed you guys that we had broke out of that channel, retested it to the downside, and then we started our impulse to the upside. So look at this impulse that we're starting here. So if we go to the Elliott 5-wave impulse, we can go from the back test, the bullish back test of that channel that I showed yesterday. No, not there. Sorry. Let me get rid of that. Right here was the bullish back test of the channel. It's also why I started the pitchfork here, because it's like the start of an impulse wave. We came up to our highs here. Then we came down. We made some corrective price action, and we made new lows. This was our wave 1 of our Elliott impulse. This is our corrective wave 2. And then this whole push up has been a wave 3. And I talked about this in yesterday's video. I would like for wave 3 to end at the top of this pitchfork, or at that 247, 248 level. But we're hitting the top of the pitchfork and seeing rejections. Every time we hit it, we're seeing rejections right away. So this could be the end of our third wave. And then your fourth wave usually takes longer to happen than your second wave. So we could see it go really long sideways, maybe even down to our much bigger pitchfork. You guys can see this pitchfork here is a much bigger pitchfork within a smaller one. And then our fifth wave would end, I think it would be nice to end at the top, this pitchfork up here, which is around $4 here, depending on how long it takes to get to it, $3.85 to $4. So we might be expecting, because you can see this is very impulsive price action here, you guys. And because it's so impulsive, there's a huge trail of liquidity that's building up in here. So if we start to lose this structure of this move, this impulse to the upside, which there almost is no structure on the 4-hour, it almost is straight up, we could see a bigger correction that takes maybe a couple days, and we could come to our major targets here. It could be like this box here, or even really this box looks nice. Now that's probably too far of a retracement. So we'd be looking, we could just extend this box here because that box is still the same area of resistance. It's our 0.5, the bottom of our pitchfork, but it's also the pitchfork band of the much bigger pitchfork. A bullish retested this band that you can see. This band rejected us here, and then finally we bust above it. It could now flip to support, and then we could continue higher. So we need to watch that. We need to be watching right now for potentially a bigger correction, a bigger and longer correction to the downside. For now, XRP is still showing strength. Even this local band of this super bullish pitchfork here is still holding, and we can't even break this lower band. So for now, we have to assume that XRP still has strength, and this third wave might even continue. Remember, I talked about yesterday that monthly pivot point around 247. It was 347. So we did hit it. Okay. Yes, that's right. Yesterday in the video, I talked about this being the major target because it was our top of our pitchfork band and our monthly pivot up here, our last monthly pivot. So we did hit that. So this is a major resistance we're at, guys. That's why I'm expecting a possible bigger correction to the downside. So if you're going to long XRP right now, doing that micro scalp stuff that I was showing you, just be very, very aware this could start a bigger correction to the downside, and you could get caught in underwater if you don't have proper stop loss and risk management in place. So right now, it's very dangerous to to open a long at the top of an impulsive move like this here. I would really be waiting for the correction to happen to get in on the correction and then bring it up higher. And I do think that's possible. Like this fifth wave ending around the midline of the very bullish pitchfork, and that would be the top of our very big pitchfork, our big weekly pitchfork. That would be really nice to see. So for now, XRP showing strength. We do have our same boxes of support below us. I talked about these yesterday, so you can go into these, go into yesterday's altcoin video and look at that. And then to the upside, you guys, I mean, we do have, if we zoom in here, we are at our major resistance right now, where we rejected from it earlier today up here. As long as this band holds, what we could do, so let me get rid of this. There is a possibility still to come up one more time and see what's called like a 3 drives pattern. And a 3 drives pattern is where you do 3 drives of liquidity grab, 3 highs, which you have your first high, then you come up and you swing fail pattern that first high, then you come up and you swing fail pattern the second high, and that's your 3 drive pattern, and then you see your move. You'll see a corrective move. So we might be seeing what's called the 3 drive pattern. So we could come up to this area here, like 344, depending on how quick we pump up there, and SFP this high, and then see the correction down. Or what could happen is we could not be able to reclaim this pitchfork band, which right now you can see it's acting as a resistance now that we're kind of chopping back within it. We're seeing wicks to the upside here on the 24-minute chart, but we're not able to reclaim it. So if we do reject from here and not able to reclaim it, then we could see our bigger push down and start our 4th wave correction to the downside. That might take some time. So we're just going to monitor that. I mean, really, right now, all you can do is zoom in and watch it. You can look at price action. So actually, let's look at the oscillator here. Let's look at market cipher. 4-hour. Okay, so for the first time, it looks like the money flow is actually not even really topping out. And we don't see bear divs up here. Now, at a major 3rd wave impulse to the upside, you'd probably want to see some bear divs. It doesn't necessarily have to be 4-hour bear divs, but it would be nice to see higher time frame bear divs. So we're not seeing those yet, unless you want to take this, like this little hump, and then this second kind of inner hump within the same momentum wave is a bear div. I don't like that, so I would zoom in to like the 2-hour chart. Let's look at the 2-hour chart. Do we see bear divs? Yes. Okay. So this is important, you guys. Multiple drives of bear divs. You can see from this momentum high right here, aggressive higher highs in the price action and multiple drives of bear div on the 2-hour. 1 drive, 2 drives of bear div. Our money flow is finally topped out and is starting to curve to the downside. So this here could be a major high, and we might see that bigger correction starting now. And that would take a few days, you guys. It could take a few days. So, but 2-hour bear divs, multiple drives of it. Let's go on to the 1-hour chart and let's look at the 1 hour. Okay, so 1 hour, yeah, we are seeing bear divs from this momentum wave to this momentum wave here, and money flow was so going so aggressively up all day long, but now that money flow is topped out and we're starting to see a decline to the downside. It does look like it could starting to be rounding out for another hump up, kind of like something like this here. So if we do reclaim this band that we're at now, we can expect to come up to at least to the top of the pitchfork again. But yeah, we do have 1 hour bear divs. And if we zoom in, let's zoom in onto the 15-minute chart. Yeah, we were seeing actually multiple drives of bear divs. So you can see this. This is actually pretty telling. So from this momentum wave high here, all through here, making higher highs, nope. Here, lower highs in the price, lower highs on your momentum waves. So we do have multiple drives of div here. And this could be a major high where we pull back for that fourth wave. So that's XRP for you. That's Bitcoin for you. I am going to go over some more altcoins in another video. And tomorrow I'm going to go in depth on a bunch of altcoins here because it's an exciting time to trade right now. But I just wanted to show you guys XRP because it's being so technically well respected right now. And it's exciting to trade right now because the moves are happening on XRP. Let's take one last quick look at Bitcoin. All right, so Bitcoin is trying to hold here. Let me get rid of this smaller range and let's look. Actually, I got rid of the wrong one. Let's get rid of the bigger range and let's look at the small range. So far, our value area high back test is still holding, but it's not looking the best here. Really, if we do lose the value area high, this golden pocket and naked daily point of control is going to be the level to watch for. Let's look at liquidity. I didn't look at that real quick. So majority of our liquidity is just above us, you guys. And remember, just above us is this box here. So we could take all the liquidity into the top of this box and then see the move. So be aware of that. Also, let's check our CVDs and let's see if we're seeing any bullish or bearish absorption here. All right. So one thing that I do see right away, but this is not absorption because it's happening on a decrease of open interest, but we are seeing that was horrible. Higher lows in our price action. Higher lows in our price action, lower lows on our CVD. So that means people are market shorting right now, but the price is not coming down. So it's showing strength, but our open interest is decreasing. Ideally, you want to see your open interest increasing. That means positions are getting absorbed by whales and we can make a move up. So this is more of a bullish CVD div and like an exhaustion div rather than absorption, but it does still show some strength here. You can see our open interest has kind of been decreasing the entire time we've been in this range here, but also our CVD has been decreasing. So we are possibly setting up for some bullish absorption. To me, this tells me Bitcoin, even though it's not absorption, it's exhaustion, and exhaustion is not as tradable, it does tell me Bitcoin does want to come higher. So even if we make it dip back down to that naked point of control in that local golden pocket within this area here at, I think it was 99,750, I would be looking for a long to take that. Because actually very locally, if we zoom in very locally here, let's do this. All right, so from this low here, I guess our CVD is kind of flat. It's not really creating a lower low, but you can see our OI is increasing. So if it takes us a while, if we chop around here for a bit, and then we come down slow like this, and our CVD continues, people continue to short it, and it finally does make lower lows, and we see our momentum continue up, we would be seeing local bullish absorption between the higher low here, and then we could see it into that naked daily point of control in that local golden pocket, and then we could make the move up. So that is something to watch for very locally on Bitcoin. All right, guys, just want to announce again, MEXC has sponsored me, and they are doing a new campaign for me, so they are giving a really juicy sign-up bonus. If you deposit just $100 of USDT, you'll get $20 free. That's a 20% bonus on your deposit. So if you want to help support the channel, other than liking, subscribing, and watching, this is a way to help support me. It is an affiliate link, so I do get a small commission on anything you deposit in here. But I just, if you want to, I just appreciate you guys being here. Appreciate you watching, all your comments and everything. In tomorrow's video, I'm going to go over a bunch of comments and questions and answer questions too. So if you have any questions about trading or about anything that you want to post the comments in today's video, and I'll go over those in tomorrow's video. All right, everybody. I hope you have a good day. Peace out.